And this is the Your Money Hour podcast. I am your host, Dakota Grady, hosted by Upstate Essential Solutions. If you need help with personal finances, contact me today at dakotagrady.com. And if you need help with your accounting and taxes for your business, and you're an entrepreneur or a nurse practitioner entrepreneur, contact me at dakotagrady.com. Hey, y'all, welcome to the Your Money Hour podcast. I am Dakota Grady, and I wanted to welcome my friend, Dr. Cassandra Bradford. She is a contract expert, helping people to get certified to get government contracts. So, Dr. Cash, welcome to the show.
Yay! I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, ma'am. So, Dr. Cash, tell everybody about who you are and what you do.
So I'm Cassandra Bradford. I'm with Genesis Preferred Solutions. We are your WMBE certification experts. We have a certification preparatory service. We can also find contracts for you and position you to win contracts with the government and Fortune 500 companies.
So how'd you get into this space, Dr. Cash?
So back in 2004, we got asked to work on a contract on a contract that someone else couldn't fulfill in Texas. I was in California at the time. And so while we worked that contract that someone else lost, they asked if we were a certified minority or woman-owned business. And I just did not understand. I'm like, dude, why are we bringing race into this? Didn't we just do a good job? And they like, we don't know about that. But if you are, we're going to have this work. It was a 4-year contract. If you're certified, we would love for you to bid on it. So I did what everybody else would do. I called my mom, and my mom told me all about it. And I flew back to California and got sent in my application with all my documents. But while I was waiting, I went to Washington, D.C. I had my assistant to find me something on government contract. I felt I needed to go to Washington, D.C. I feel that's where all these laws and bills are made. Let me go there. Anyway, I went to Washington, D.C., took a whole bunch of classes, became licensed to teach it. I've been a lobbyist for the state of Texas for our disadvantaged business certification program. I've owned a chamber of commerce where we've pushed certifications and contracting opportunities for small minority-owned businesses. So I've been pretty busy in this space for a little over 21 years. So,
Wow. Now, I earlier asked you about how do people basically get certified? What are some steps that people can take to get certified when they come to you?
So to get certified, there's 3 criteria I'm going to always ask you. I'm going to ask you, do you own a business? You have to own at least 51% of your business. And you have to operate your business at least 51% of the time. And the you that I'm talking about, you have to be prove your ethnicity or your gender with your birth certificate. So you have to be born a minority or a woman, and you have to prove that with a birth certificate. If you can answer yes to all of that, then that is the first main 3 criteria that we're looking for. After that, there's about anywhere from 28 to 36 documents that you have to send. You have to understand this is the government. I think they hate trees, so there's a lot of paper involved. But you have to get us those documents so we can now attach that to an application, because for every question they ask, we have to provide proof. So they want to know, what is Dakota's name? Bam, we proved it with a driver's license, right? Where does he live? We proved it with your driver's license, your tax return, your resume. So every question they ask, we have to provide proof. So it's not a one-stop shop. It's not the same for every business. I just want to be clear, because there's a lot of people out there that say that they can do certifications, and we are probably the company that do a lot of cleanup work because what's mandatory for your business is not mandatory for mine. Does that make sense? So they'll ask for documents that are not on any website. You're like, they're asking me for stuff that is not on their website. It doesn't make sense. And for a small business owner, there are things out there that you got to have. If you're an LLC, you got to have an operating agreement. That's in every state. If you are a C Corp or an S Corp, you got to have shareholders agreements and things like that. If you are married and your spouse is a part of your corporation or LLC, you have to have a marital agreement. What happens to the division of property in case you divorce? So if you still work a job, you have to have a letter of other employment. So there's so many different documents that may not be applicable for you, but may be applicable for me. So.
Wow. Now, when people come to you and they're about to start the process, what do you have to unravel?
So for us, we rather for you to send us all the documents and let us take a look at them. So we're going to audit your documents. We're very, 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 very thorough. We don't get rejections, because if we get a client rejected, we're going to file a civil rights complaint, but that's just what we do. But we don't, because we've been doing this for so long and we know which certification has which requirements, we just ask you to send us everything and let us figure it out. We know who gets what. Because so like you're in South Carolina. South Carolina has 4 certifications, where North Carolina has 5, right? So we, the disadvantaged business certifications in every state has the exact same requirement except for Florida. Florida is special. But for disadvantaged business certification, they're going to ask you for a personal net worth statement, which for us, we do it on every certification. And why do we do that? Because we know small business is going to need some kind of funding if you ever get a government contract. So we already have created we've already created a financial statement for you, or a personal income statement is what it's called. So government contracting, the government is just a customer, y'all. And I don't know why people are so afraid of the government. They're just the customer who has the ability to pay your invoice. The government's not running out of money. Or Fortune 500 companies like Toyota and Pepsi and Wells Fargo and Bank of America and, anything Warren Buffett owns like Acme Brick and BNSF Railway. They have the ability to pay your invoice. So they're not going to be like Pookie that still owes you, $200 on your invoice and haven't paid you yet. They have the ability to pay your invoice. And so I don't understand why people are so afraid of doing business with the government. You just got to understand the playbook.
With that being said, are some Black-owned businesses that may be certified, are they ready for a contract? They may have.
So you say Black-owned business. So the U.S. Black Chamber of Commerce has come up with a Black-owned business certification, but it's not accepted by anybody. So I'm going to say the legal term, which is minority-owned business certification, okay? So it's not hard to get a contract. You just have to bid it out. So when you're reading an RFP, that's what it's called. RFP stands for Request for Proposal. So let's say it's the city, or let's just say Toyota. I like Toyota. Let's say it's Toyota. So Toyota is requesting you to send them a proposal as to what you would charge for the scope of work, right? So if you know what you do, you know how to charge, right? So when you're looking at an RFP, you're looking for a number of things. Number one, you want to know the date that it came out, right? That's important because you only have 30 days to submit a bid. Legally, you only have 3 weeks, because the first week they're giving you 7 days to read it, and then you have a pre-bid meeting. If you don't attend the pre-bid meeting, you can't bid. And you want to attend the pre-bid meeting because you want to know who's bidding. I want to make friends with them. If Dakota, if I'm bidding against you, I'm going to be there. I'm going to tell you how awesome you are. Hey, let's have a conversation after this Zoom meeting, whatever. Right? Because if you want $1 million contract, don't you need help? And if I'm bidding on the same contract, I may not be as good as you, but I'm number 2. Wouldn't you want somebody as good as you to help you fulfill that contract? Yes. So stop, being mean to people that do the same thing you do, because you may need them, right? And then if I bid on the contract and so back to the RFP, because I can get into government contracts. So you're going to look for date, scope of work, requirements. Got to look at the requirements. What is required? Do I have to have W-2 versus W-9 employees? Do I have to have $1 million in insurance, right? Maybe errors and omissions insurance. You and I got to have E&O coverage, right? Do I have to have 5 million, 3 million? I don't know. So sometimes the requirements kick you out of bidding. You're like, that's going to cost me too much money, right? But keep reading. It says that the insurance is not due until you're awarded the contract. So just get a bid. Get your insurance agent to give you a quote. Then we look at Does it have an MWBE set aside? Does it require you and your subcontractors all to have to be certified? So you got to read that. Then it tells you how you win. And in professional service like you and I, it could say, Dakota, you and your team, it's equals 60%. What that means is if you and all of your subcontractors is going to help you work the contract, if all of your subcontractors are also certified minority or woman owned, that's 60% of your score. You got to get to 100. The other 20% is, can you meet the insurance requirement? The last 20% is your bid amount. So they're not putting on professional services. They don't put that much emphasis on what you're charging. You see what I mean? And so now you look to see all of that equals capacity. So you can do the scope of work, but you can't afford the insurance. So that knocks you out the running for wanting to bid on that contract. But then, as we talked earlier, there are no bid, low bid contracts where you don't have to bid. You can walk in and ask for them. So there's a lot of ways to win contracts with the government, or you could lose. I have a strategy that I want to lose the contract just so I can win.
Wow. So on your time, what's one thing that you can leave the audience with, whether it's money, business, life, that can help them on their journey? Thank you for your time, Dr. Cass. You got the floor.
So listen, don't be afraid of the government. The government is just a customer with the ability to pay your invoice. Get into this contracting space and see about going after contracts, whether you bid or not bid. The point is you're getting access to opportunities, or you're getting access to even being a sub, because even once you're certified, even if you don't bid, watch how your telephone rings off the hook or an email saying that they found your certification on the state's website and they want to know, can you help them bid on this contract? So I get opportunities sent to me so many different ways on it's crazy. And so your question, now your answer is yes or no. Do you have the time or not have the time? Do you let that be your reason for not bidding on contracts. Don't let it be, well, nobody's calling me. Nobody knows I'm out here. Woe is me. Because the government buys everything. So there's nothing that you're selling that the government is not buying. They buy books. They pay speakers to facilitate meetings. They buy toe separators, ice, ink pens, t-shirts. It doesn't matter what you're selling. The government is buying.
Wow. So Dr. Cass, how can we find out about you online, social media, and your website?
So you can reach me at genesispreferred.com or iamdrcass.com, or you can call our office at 1-800-718-2425.
Thank you for your time, Dr. Cass.
Thank you, Dakota.
Welcome. And this is the Your Money Hour podcast, hosted by Upstate Essential Solutions. If you need help with personal finances, get a copy of my book, Broke, at dakotagrady.com. And also, if you need accounting and tax help with your business, dakotagrady.com. Thanks for joining us, y'all.